Hey, what's up, fellas? What we're looking at here is a 180 kilowatt plate burner. I'm doing a build for Bob, who has got a steam engine that he needs to run. So what exactly are we looking at here? This is the top cutout of the plate burner and the pattern of the burner array. And this is about how much gas we're burning without it being turbocharged. All right, so we're back out here at White Sands Proving Ground. And just for contrast, this is the burner that we've seen already, and we were hitting 360 BTUs or 94 kilowatts. This one here is a far bigger deal. All right, Bobo, so here's what we figured out in today's testing. First of all, under no circumstances is one tank enough power to run one of these bad boys. So you can see here I've got two tanks hooked up in tandem to give us that extra bit of power. This is just me messing around, doing some testing. I wanted you guys to see how much fuel we're actually burning at one time. But when you combust it with compressed air, it kind of hides its true power from you. So this was just some testing I did to see what it would act like without those center holes in place. So I may be welding those closed because I wasn't too happy with the way it worked lower end power. Nonetheless, pretty phenomenal. It's broad daylight out right now, so being able to see anything is pretty much just impossible. Kind of amazing how that got red hot right there and nowhere else. Interesting. Anyway, that's about 380 watts of blower power, and because it's broad daylight, we really can't see anything, but don't worry, I did do some night testing eventually. This is me getting ready to boil, I think it was 3.5 gallons of water, just to kind of see what it will do. And this thing is pretty amazing, actually. I'm surprised that it did as well as it did without having to vaporize propane. Nonetheless, what I've discovered is that we will indeed need to put a vaporizer coil around just one turn of it around that burner, and what that'll do is vaporize the liquid propane in the tank, similar to the way a hot air balloon works. And what this will do is allow us to run as much power as we want, because the liquid propane can be shot out of there at a far higher power than just boiling off the gas can. So that's definitely what we're going to want to do here. This thing is probably running at, see there's the bottle there, how it's just kind of cold, so I moved them closer to the burner here to get some heat on them. This thing's doing at least 180 kilowatts. Unfortunately, we can't see the boiling action because of all the steam. But nonetheless, it was a hard thing to get this much propane going into the burner. It was not easy. I had to remove the spud. So a lot of testing was done before we got to this point. There is no spud on this. It's just propane directly spraying out of a hose with the back pressure of about 15 psi. That's how much propane is issuing out of these bottles. So definitely a lot of power. I just wanted to get the thing working today. I didn't want to worry about doing any actual consumption testing, but for the most part, I think it did like 3.4 pounds in 10 minutes or something like that. I'll have to double check. As you can see, when I shake that bottle, it gives us a little bit more power because it's heating up that propane. So today pretty much taught me that there's no way we're going to be able to, got a little fire there, a little bit of a propane leak right there. But what I learned is we're definitely going to have to do the propane vaporization or run these things on diesel. All right, Bobo, so basically this is what it looks like on just one propane bottle. Nowhere near enough, but it did get 7 gallons of water boiling. So we learned that we're going to have to use liquid propane and a vaporizer coil. And we learned that it takes one leaf blower to run one burner. So that's 380 watts of power that we're cranking into this thing. Now we could probably get a bigger blower to limit the amount of waste power from a smaller blower, but for the most part, that's where we stand. That's kind of what 7 gallons looks like boiling. I know you can't hardly see it, but that was the best footage I have. Now this is with the 2 tanks hooked up. And you can see there's a drastic amount difference in fuel output for sure, but it doesn't last. We can't maintain this ferocious power. I don't even think we could do it for the 5 minutes or whatever. You slowly start to lose pressure from the beginning. So that's basically what we're taking away from this today. Tomorrow we're going to see the vaporizer coil. The propane tanks will be turned upside down. And we know that we're going to need a lot of electricity to run these blowers. We're looking at about 3,000 watts of blower power needed to run 8 of these burners. So that's another figure that we needed to determine today for sure. So I don't think one of these blowers could run 2 burners. I highly doubt it. I'm going to double check that in tomorrow's test. But that's where we're going to see how well the vaporization coil works. And we should just be able to use one of these little 20-pound propane tanks to run up to 4 of these burners. I don't know if it lasts the whole 5 minutes at that rate though. So that's what we'll do tomorrow also, is get the actual power output. How long will a 20-pound propane tank run this one burner? And how much water can we boil out of this garbage can in that time? Is kind of where we're headed. So the rest of this footage is just the GoPro footage, me wandering around looking at it. So I'm done yapping. I think I'm about to talk everybody's ear off at this point. So I'm going to get you a price about these burners and we'll see where we go from there. I think we figured out what we need to do. So we didn't knock it out of the park the first time, but by tomorrow we'll have exactly what we need to make this happen.